Welcome in week 9, Thursday night football. Texans versus Jets. Talk about brutal. No Diggs, no Collins. So tonight's guests are probably going to be Wilson, you're starting. Hall, you're starting. Dell, more than likely you're starting. Potentially Stroud. I don't love it. More worried about Rodgers. Definitely starting Mixon. All right, Ryan. Let's see here. Do you have any confidence in Ramondre against Tennessee? Yes, I do. Outside of it just being a volume play, Ramondre's just been solidly getting you double digits every week. I'm definitely playing him over Worthy and Williams. Broncos aren't going to be able to run the ball. Kind of touched on that on last night's show, that their front defense is pretty good. So with that in mind, Williams definitely struggles. It's close with Dell. I think Dell has more upside, but he also has a much more difficult matchup, which I do not love. So really kind of depends on what you're expecting from him. It's just, yeah. Unfortunately, that's kind of brutal and not what you're wanting, but where we are. So yeah. All right. Who else? Oh, if you're looking for a kicker tonight, you have a good one. Riley Patterson should be widely available. Jess was promoted. With Zerline, I think they officially put him on IR. And it was him or Schrader. So I like Patterson tonight. I think he's a good kicking option for you if you're looking for it. You guys have questions, please ask them. That's literally the whole point of the show. But yeah, like I said, you're starting the running backs here. You're starting Wilson more than likely, and then Dell if you absolutely have to. I have him as a low-end flex right now. So not ideal, but and then if you're looking for a kicker, Riley Patterson, I feel like this is a pretty good matchup. They should be able to move the ball. Just we'll see if they can actually score or not, because that will be a big differentiator. Guessing the Jets are going to take points any chance they get. All right, Derek. Feel weird going against Stroud, but this. Yes, I would play both of them over them. Let me see for sure. I'm pretty sure I have. Nope. I'm wrong. Nope. I have Nick's higher just because there's more upside that I have correlated with him. So Ravens have a good front on their defense. But their secondary, we talked about it last night, is not good. Nick's has a lot of potential upside there, and he isn't looking to run. Caleb has a great matchup. I'm just more worried that Swift gets a little more use. So I do have them separated by a couple spots, with Nick's being slightly higher. So I'm not willing to trust Stroud tonight, mostly because, again, all of his weapons are out. Oh, you can also start Schultz. Sorry, now that I think about it. Schultz is probably another good one to start as well. Perfect. Good luck. Okay, Josh, let's see. Who would you drop out of McMillan, Robinson, Henry to pick up Corum? Yeah, that's fine. Assuming you have a tight end that you have already, you're comfortable with, I'm fine dropping Henry. Then I'd probably go Wandale, because I still think there's a chance for McMillan. Again, a lot of potential upside. Just, didn't get a whole lot of usage. Didn't really need him to. So it was a pretty easy matchup overall. And really benefits. The upside is there, and I'd much rather hold on to him and see what it's going to be than not. And Robinson, we kind of know what it is. I think he has a decent matchup this week. I thought he had a decent matchup last week, but again, Jones is just really inconsistent, unfortunately. So, yeah. All right. Guys, haven't already, please like and subscribe. Of course, we have our lovely lineup of shows. We are now right here. Tomorrow we have the betting show. Widely, Mason and Vishal have been doing a great job, and yet do not get the praise that they deserve. So, yeah. If you guys have any questions, please ask them. Looking at other options, Puka Nakua popped up on the injury report today. I do not like that. Way too late. It's not an ideal situation. It's just absolutely brutal. Oh, all right, Scott. Thoughts on Jets? Again, get right is kind of difficult because I think their real key was actually Saleh. And having let him go, the defense has kind of backed off and hasn't been as effective as I should. I'm fine playing them because I don't think they go negative tonight. I don't think it's expected to be a high scoring game. Neither does Vegas. They have the over under at 43, I believe. So you're looking at a 23-20 game, more than likely, with what I would guess is probably actually going to be the Jets winning, but all depends on who shows up. So Stroud has been struggling. Now without Diggs makes me even more nervous. So yeah, get right is kind of difficult. I do have them at, I think, my defense 11. So again, for what it's worth. All right, Jake, let's see. Touchdown only league. That's fun. 4 points throwing, 6 point rushing, 3 points, 220. Do I play Stroud or Herbert? Yeah, I don't like that. Let's see. Chargers. I feel like they had they could theoretically throw on them. Get more points for over. The issue is I don't really think that either throw a whole lot of touchdowns. Of them, I'm probably more willing to go Herbert because the matchup is slightly better against the Browns. But yeah, honestly, I'd be looking. Let's see. Tried to tell you guys 2 weeks ago. Grab Goff. Good matchup again. Cousins, I'd probably take at this point based on the passing portion. I think he definitely goes over 225. Now the rushing isn't there. Potentially, if you don't get hurt too much by turnovers, Gardner Minshew might be a good option for you. Very widely available, but yeah, that's kind of an area that gets real gray. But of those two, I'm going to go Herbert. All right, Court. Should I play Jets or Texans defense? 3 points for turnovers, 2 points for sacks. That's tough. Texans have actually been playing pretty good defense overall. But I don't expect, with Allen Lazard being out, I don't expect a whole lot of turnovers. So I'd be more willing to play the Jets tonight, unfortunately. If I do, with Hassan potentially playing, that does kind of change the defense, and there is that option. Should double check to make sure he is, because I saw them put out the injury report, but I didn't get a chance to look at it before I got on here. Let's see. Yeah, that's Puka. Yeah, so Hassan actually looks like he's playing based on the inactives for tonight. So makes it interesting. All right, Scott. Top 5, I think it's going to take a minute. Just because coming back from injury usually takes 2 to 3 weeks to get right. It is an ideal game, so I do expect him to find the end zone, but it's probably going to take him a couple weeks for him to be anything consistent. I do think this actually ends up hurting Addison and Naylor, but the next couple weeks are a really good time for everybody to kind of find a fluidity, kind of really establish their roles, kind of have an idea of what they're doing. So it makes it interesting. I do think there's a lot of potential there for sure. So, yeah. You guys are looking for a bet. One of my favorites right now, talked about it with Neil last night, is the Browns, because the Chargers are favored in the game in Cleveland. It is a game that we usually lose, so I'm more than willing to take the Browns with Winston under center. Just seems like the perfect game for the Chargers to lose, and go straight money line. I think you get a bigger hit there for the Browns. All right. Guys, haven't already, please like and subscribe. Ask your questions. We still have 18 minutes until kickoff. Yeah, man. Finding Puka is just an issue. Having him pop up this late, I don't love. Again, it's his knee, which was the issue initially. Don't love that at all. So, all right, Scott. Let's see thoughts on Lions Packer games. It depends on who the quarterback's going to be. I would expect Love. If it's Love, it's going to be. Let's see, what is their over under right now? The over under for them right now is 48.5, so it is higher scoring. But that is assuming that Love plays. I would guess that it would probably be 47 if he doesn't play. With Detroit being minus 3.5, I'd expect that to get a little higher, probably closer to 6 if Love is out. If he does end up playing, then the 48.5 is probably pretty close. And the 3.5, then I might actually take if he does play, because I think the Packers can cover that. They do have the option. Love looks good when he's out there, so it becomes a very interesting question to kind of deal with. But it is also a divisional game. These teams kind of know each other. Lions defense has been pretty solid. Glitchy. That is the question. Because of the injury, I'm nervous about it. Because it's what he had injured. Like that's the reason I didn't think you'd play last week. It's because of this. I was worried about it being something that can easily be agitated. And sure enough, today it comes out that he agitated it. So don't love it. If you have other options, specifically tonight, you're playing Dell. You probably have to play Dell. I don't love that, but unfortunately, that's where we are. And CJ Stroud or Goff. It's going to be Goff. Packers do not have defense. Jets have a semblance of a defense. Now they've gone downhill, but that's because Saleh left and is a defensive guru. So it's a little different. I'd much rather go Goff. Really like it. Matchup. Really easy. I do get a little nervous because I do expect them that they'll be able to run the ball, but just how it goes. So, all right. Let's see. Any other good ones? The over-under for Bengals and Raiders is at 46.5. I think I'd actually take the over there. I do think both teams actually score more. DK, yeah, that might. I'm assuming that's Amari Cooper. You went first names, which kind of threw me off. So otherwise, Cup is trending to play if that's the other Cooper that I know. But yeah, not too worried about that, thankfully. Guys have questions, please ask them. Again, like and subscribe. Of course, we have this lovely lineup of shows. Kind of figured tonight would be somewhat dead, so not too surprising. The two people that I have for my bet for tonight to score are the running backs. I have Hall and Mixon both to score. It was like plus 283, I think, or 285. Either way, seemed like a pretty simple one, straightforward. Didn't want to mess with it too much. The other thing that kind of becomes interesting too is the Saints and Panthers, with Young being the starter and Carr likely coming. I mean, he should play. It becomes very interesting because he's going to have to throw to Olave. They can do whatever they want against the Panthers, but I would expect them to kind of take off some of the work from Kamara, considering his injury and Kendre Miller's injury. So the over-under is at 43.5. Probably going to take the over. Not going to lie. Just expect the Saints to score more. All right, AL. Devontae Adams or Chase Brown. It's going to be Chase Brown. Doesn't really matter the format. Adams is still learning the playbook. And again, I would expect the Texans to kind of try and get after Rodgers tonight. Plus, just the way they've been using him, he still isn't 100%. I know he'll still get probably 5 or 6 targets, but Wilson's clearly getting more separation, is looking a lot better. So I'd much rather go Brown. Matchup is actually really good for him. I just, again, I think the Bengals are going to be able to do whatever they want. My worry for Brown is that they ease him. I mean, they're able to split almost fully with Moss, and so I have them both in the 20s at the running back position. I do have Brown slightly higher. So as good as that is, and you're welcome. Glad I could help theoretically. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that kind of. I'm really upset with T. Higgins too, potentially dealing with injury. He popped up last Friday, missed the game. He hasn't practiced this week, which doesn't give me any hope. Makes Chase's day even bigger, which is also why I think Brown and Moss get a pretty decent matchup this week, because they're just able to kind of relax and go with it. Yeah. Anybody else that I'm super excited on? I'm curious to see the Commanders and Giants game. They have the Commanders favored. It's in New York. Well, New Jersey. Only team in New York that actually plays in New York is Buffalo. But they're 3.5-point favorites. Over-under's 43.5. That means you're looking at a 21 to 23, 24. So you're looking at the over no matter what, pretty much for me, because I do expect both of them to be somewhat able to score. And I would expect the Commanders to score over 23 themselves. Just brutal. All right. Any other questions, please ask them. Otherwise, let's see. Saints and Panthers. Again, you're starting all of your Saints. Carr included, Olave included. It becomes a gray area when you get to anybody, any of the tight ends, because they've really been sliding them all in, and I hate that. Been burning a spot. Yeah, that's very true. That is unfortunately how it goes. So one of the things I always do is I try and keep a spot empty on my bench, so every week I can pick up somebody that is a handcuffed, like, let's see, Eckler. No, Eckler's probably just rostered. I keep doing it with Jalen Warren with Najee Harris. That's my big one, is I keep going back to that and doing it over and over, because Warren's widely available, but if Harris were to go down, he'd be the clear next guy up. What up, G? Thanks for popping in. Pick 2, Dell, Wilson, Reed. Because we don't know who the quarterback is, you're probably going to have to play Dell and Wilson. I hate that for you, but Malik doesn't really get it to Reed, and lately his usage has just been way down, which he was having a lot of success and was super, well, not super, but he was very diligent in his usage. He was being very effective with his limited snaps and was seeing a lot of targets, but it hasn't been working at all for him. Welcome. Happy to provide him. That's kind of the whole point. But, again, this isn't a fancy heavy game, so I'm not super surprised that it's pretty dead in here. Luckily, I can talk for however long I need to. It's not ideal. I don't sound the greatest, but can answer your questions for sure. Would I play the Titans or the Patriots over the Jets? Maybe the Patriots, depending on the scoring format, just because Titans continue to kind of turn it over. But it's just hard to get away. I mean, that's going to be a lower scoring game too. That over-under is actually, I think, the lowest of the week at 37.5. Let me see. So that you're looking at the safest play possible, because it is the lowest scoring, means there's less chance of you going negative. And of those two defenses, I'd probably play the Patriots, because it looks like even if it is Brissett doesn't really turn over the ball a whole lot. So I'd be more than willing to play the Patriots just as a safer play if you're nervous about the Jets. I am very curious to see how much Hassan does tonight, though, or if he's even playing, since there hasn't been anything confirmed. I guess I can look. Yeah, I just don't see anything on if he's actually playing. I'm guessing he's going to do something, but the fact that they don't have it listed makes me think that he's playing. So interesting. Yeah. In any case, it's not an ideal situation. Guys have questions, please ask them. We have still 7 minutes. Oh my gosh. But yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how tonight goes. Jets being favored, not super surprising. It is because they have been playing horribly, but I do think that they're have the potential to actually win this game. Being 2-point favorites is interesting. Because again, they've lost. Texans doesn't have Diggs. They don't have Collins. They have Schultz and Hutchinson and Mechie and Dell and then Mixon. So the over-under being 42.5 is interesting. Again, just blows me away that that's still an option. What else? You guys have any good thing? Tyrone Tracy, that's a positive. You will potentially have him this week. Already went through somewhat of the protocol and is practicing, which you love to see. It's already in a red non-contact. Really like how he's being used and the fact when he's on the field, it's just a completely different style of play. So really appreciate that. Outside of that, I'm kind of curious to see if the Ravens have Johnson on the field this week. I haven't seen it official yet, which means he hasn't cleared the medical inspection. So that'll be another interesting part. Yeah. Anything else? Dallas Goedert again had to practice this week. Megas Calcaterra, another potential streamer for you guys. If Goddard ends up being out, but after not practicing, not playing the past 2 weeks, and now this week, or having yet to practice this week is brutal. Love not practicing. Don't love that either. Anybody else? DK Metcalf's another one. If he's out, that's going to be another game that I am just terrified of because the Rams should be able to do whatever they want. Seattle hasn't been good. The fact that they are only 1.5 point favorites is outstanding to me. Can't believe that at all. I'm definitely take the Rams with that. However, the over-under being 48.5 is crazy. That should not be the case. Don't care how bad it is. Also, the Vikings and Colts being the Sunday night game is a choice, I guess. I'm guessing that they were hoping it'd be JJ McCarthy versus Anthony Richardson. Instead, it's going to be Sam Darnold versus Flacco, which is kind of funny. But looks like everybody's going to be playing in that game. Everybody seems to be healthy. Vikings actually traded for the left tackle from the Jaguars. We'll see how much that actually affects the game. Should help. I know that he probably won't be up to speed yet, but should have a good understanding of what he needs to do. Also, touched on it yesterday, but I'm nervous for Patrick Mahomes. We talked about it. We've continued to talk about it. But he has yet to have a QB1 week. He has 2 weeks where he's been QB 15, but outside of that, he's been lower in fantasy. And there has been 33 quarterbacks that have had QB1 weeks. So also, Chiefs haven't scored more than 28 points. That's just crazy. I don't understand it. I can't believe it. It's terrifying. Like that's even a thing. It shouldn't be an issue, but all right. Guys, haven't already, please like and subscribe. I'm going to get out of here. Thought there might be some more questions, but since there's not, I'm not going to waste anybody else's time. I appreciate you all. Enjoy tonight. Happy Halloween. If you have costumes, I'd love to see them. Share it with me on Twitter, or if you're part of the Discord, widely available there. Always love to see costumes. So, all right. With that, I hope everybody has a good week. Come tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, to watch Locked In with Mason. He will get you all set up with your bets for the week. And then I'll be back on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern to answer your start sit questions again. But I really appreciate y'all. Hope you all have a wonderful Halloween. Please be safe and enjoy all the sweets. And remember, as always,